Welcome. This is my Module 12 case study. My name is Ian Martinez-McGraw. Kind of want to go over what the summary of the case is. Carlos Santos is the principal at Briardale Elementary. It's one of 6 elementary schools in the district. Each school has formed its own school foundation in order to raise money for a supplementary curriculum. There is competition between the schools to raise the most money. The foundation is chaired by a parent representative who serves as the foundation's president. And its role is to support supplementary curriculum financially and recommend programs for the school. Mr. Barely is a new parent to the district and was recently chosen to lead Briardale Foundation as new president. He knows the president of another school's foundation from college, so he feels inclined to compete to raise more funds. Mr. Barely was used to taking control and enjoyed challenge competing with his former classmate, Mr. Morley. He considered himself more qualified to run the foundation. He decided to come up with a unique idea to raise money for the Briardale Foundation. He recalled an idea from his former college days when his fraternity raised more than $100,000 by selling raffle tickets in exchange for a chance to win cash. It was one of the most successful fundraisers that the fraternity has ever ran. Some of the community had tipped off to the local sheriff and informed them the raffle for cash event was being held at Briardale. The tipster knew something that no one else knew. The sheriff arrived just as the first raffle ticket was about to be drawn, and Mr. Barely was asked to accompany the sheriff to the local sheriff's station, where he was booked and released. Later that week, Mr. Barely was convicted of a misdemeanor and placed on probation for his roles in the raffle for cash event. Mr. Santos, Briardale Elementary School, and the Briardale Foundation were embarrassed as the debacle ended up being the front page of the local news. Oops. So legal and ethical issues. I believe that Mr. Santos, Mr. Barely, Briardale Foundation, and the school board or the school have been harmed by the tipster going to authorities. One or more of these people may lose their job due to the debacle. A situation that was an embarrassment for the school, principal, district, and foundation. The existing situation brought up legal actions that were justified legally, but perhaps not ethically. Legally, the foundation held a raffle without a license, therefore it was illegal. Ethically, I believe the tipster should have talked to Mr. Barely or Mr. Santos before going to the authorities, and I believe that no breach in contract in this situation appeared to be an honest mistake on Mr. Santos and Mr. Barely. I think they could possibly ran it by upper administration prior to the fundraising event to get approval, make sure everything was okay, and maybe somebody could have warned them previously about not running a raffle and that you need a license. I do not feel that any discriminatory actions or actions that constituted harassment. So what exactly happened? Mr. Barely, who is the foundation president, hoped to raise money, the most money for Briardale Elementary School by hosting a raffle for cash fundraiser, but did so without a gambling raffle license, resulting in his arrest and embarrassment of the school staff at the school. Oops. So the facts about people. What is known? Mr. Santos is the principal at Briardale Elementary. Mr. Barely is a new parent to the district, new president of the Briardale Foundation. Foundations have been started at each elementary school to raise additional funds for supplemental curriculum. The parents at Briardale were very supportive of the foundation. Mr. Barely was motivated to fundraise in competition with Mr. Morley, a former classmate of his, president of another elementary school foundation. The sheriff of the town arrived at the raffle to book Mr. Barely for hosting a legal raffle. So what is unknown? We do not know if Mr. Barely, the foundation, or Mr. Santos knew that raffle was illegal. We do not know who worked the fundraiser, what parties worked it. We do not know the identity of the tipster, but can infer from the case that it may have been Mr. Morley. We do not know the relationship between Mr. Barely and Mr. Morley, if they are in good terms, bad terms, or what they are. Facts of the place. So we know that there are 6 elementary schools in the district. Each school houses between 500 and 800 students. Briardale Elementary has a population of 600 students. It is a K-5 and is located in the center of the town of a diverse community. Briardale Elementary serves as the community's meeting center, and there is 1 high school and 2 middle schools in the school district. So what we do not know, we do not know the demographics of the school or the district. We do not know specific demographics of the community other than it states that it is diverse. We do not know the socioeconomic status of the school district or if it's rural or urban. Facts on the program. So what we know is the school's curriculum focuses on basic skills. Briardale Elementary serves K through 5. Anything outside the basic curriculum needs to be fundraised for. Funding for supplementary curriculum come from each individual school's foundation. These funds raised by the foundation are turned into building principal and placed into a category budgeted for supplementary curriculum. And the school curriculum committee handles the curriculum suggestions made by the foundation. So what we do not know is that we do not know if the school is public or private. We do not know the formula the superintendent or principal uses to distribute funds to each school or each program. We do not know the process other schools use to determine how to allocate their foundation funding. So, reviewing and prioritizing the information, Mr. Santos is the principal at Briardale Elementary. Mr. Santos has provided basic funds for curriculum from the superintendent. A foundation was established at Briardale to provide supplementary program funds. Mr. Santos always agrees upon the recommendations of the fund usage by protocol, has established a school site curriculum committee. Parents have been very supportive of the foundation and program funds. Each elementary school in the district established a foundation. They regularly competed to see who raised the most money. So Mr. Barely is the new president of the Briardale Foundation. Mr. Barely is well educated and highly competitive. He met with the committee and established an idea for a raffle and what was supported. Was not informed that the school did not have a raffle license. Was booked convicted of a misdemeanor and placed on probation for his role in the raffle. The incident left an mark on the Briardale Foundation. Mr. Santos was personally embarrassed. So prioritizing the information, what stakeholders are at risk? I believe Mr. Santos, the foundation president, parent, Mr. Barely, Briardale Elementary Foundation, Briardale Elementary School, the staff and students, the community around Briardale Elementary School. How all relevant stakeholders have been consulted. I do not believe they have been. The ones that have not been consulted with, I believe that getting from the case study was the superintendent, other district level admin, committee members, school staff, the district's legal team, part of the sheriff's office. Can I learn more about the situation? I do believe so. We need to let the sheriff's office complete their investigation. Meet with the superintendent about raffle and fundraising. Why was Mr. Barely not informed about raffle laws? Would somebody be able to talk to Mr. Santos about them? So do I know enough to make a decision? I do not believe I do. At this time, I think that there needs to be a meeting, the district level admin and the superintendent to review our district's legal policies regarding fundraisers, and that would come definitely after a thorough investigation by the sheriff's office to make sure that there's any legal actions on that. So identifying the option and possible consequences. No making a decision or taking action, I believe, would mean, keeping Mr. Santos as principal, keeping Mr. Barely as the foundation president. School will be on their own with potential legal action from the raffle. The foundations would have to make a decision about refunding the raffle money to people who bought tickets. So the most comprehensive or liberal action would be Mr. Santos be put on probation or admin leave or even terminated for not intervening or informing Mr. Barely, the foundation and committee of fundraising laws. Mr. Barely and the foundation committee members are removed. New funding committee is established. All money is refunded to people who purchased raffle tickets. So a couple of my intermediate options. Intermediate option 1 would be foundation and committee ran carefully operated by Mr. Santos, terminating Mr. Barely from the foundation presidency. Money from the raffle is refunded. Have multiple training on ethical and legal fundraisers. And then my intermediate option 2 is keeping Mr. Santos as principal and Mr. Barely as foundation president. Mr. Barely publicly acknowledged what he did wrong, and continues his role as foundation president. The school and district also provide an acknowledgement statement. The foundation would have to make a decision about refunding the raffle to people who bought tickets. So evaluating options. So the pros of no action are limit any confrontations with unhappy staff members. The pros of comprehensive or liberal action is the school or district set an example for expectations that need to be followed. Pros of intermediate option 1 and 2 are Mr. Santos and the foundation are still involved. New protocols and expectations have been established. All stakeholders acknowledge the mistake. There will be new protocols and expectations established. So some of the cons are Mr. Santos, the superintendent, and all stakeholders are all at risk. Extreme punishment for parties involved. There might be a difficult time finding replacements for the positions. Mr. Braley volunteers removed. No legal actions take place. Potential outcomes for the no action is legal actions taken the foundation, school district, and individuals. Comprehensive or liberal action, the superintendent would have to hire and train a new principal. Students would not have supplemental funding for the time being, and a new fundraising committee would have to be formed. Intermediate option 1 would be trust is lost on the fundraising committee. New fundraising committee and practices need to be established based on district policy. Intermediate option 2 is the trust is lost on the fundraising committee. A new fundraising committee and practices need to be established. So what is the best option? In my opinion, I believe intermediate option 2. This option may be made by the district admin, superintendent, and the school board. Make sure that Mr. Santos and Mr. Bailey of the foundation or school site curriculum committee were aware of the raffle laws. This allows the stakeholders to come forth and admit and justify their mistake. New protocols, policies, and expectations are established that can be more clear. All stakeholders assume their same roles. Mr. Santos would now be more involved with the foundation and committee on fundraisers. It would provide all stakeholders to be consulted, a creative option. Law enforcement could waive the misdemeanor and extend the probation with the public acknowledgement. The district can apply for a raffle license. I believe that there needs to be some ethical, like professional development and stuff like that on behalf of schools to kind of keep them up to date with fundraising laws. So implementing the decision, the path I would take is to depend on the admin, superintendent, school board's decision, but public acknowledgement would be released within 1 week. New protocols, procedures, and expectations will be written and signed by all stakeholders, acknowledging they understand the policy and will not violate any rules. As the principal, I would oversee the foundation committee as well as providing fundraising ethics training. So what may happen? All people involved may step down from their roles. Our public acknowledgement statement may not set well with the community and judgments may arise. Foundation may not thrive, therefore the students' academics needs would suffer, and everyone accepts our mistakes as we move forward new guidelines. So who needs to know? All stakeholders, the admin, staff, parents who are involved, law enforcement, and the community. Can this be an internal issue or not? This is an external issue because it involves law enforcement and grounds for a new policy within the school, but can easily turn to an internal issue because of the policies were violated within the school district. So I believe that this option is a warning as of now, acknowledgement, and plan to move forward. It establishes new expectations for our school and district and reminds us of what we need to work on. Next step, if the plan does not work, possible termination of the principal, additional new legal ramifications for stakeholders, plan B, terminate the foundation, and create a new committee with the principal overseeing the training process and allocation of funds. So some of the reflection, this is something that really happened in real life. I didn't really understand how important, fundraising was, but as a coach here in our school, fundraising is everything for our program. So this did open my eyes to see how applicable this can be in real life. Although I don't know what it is from the building leadership standpoint right now, as I'm not one of those. This is kind of what I was able to learn. I believe that all repercussions that happened were deserved. We should know that anything with the gambling should be taken seriously. Therefore, the proper channels by following policies and checking with other district administrators. Make sure nothing is violated. As a future building leader, I'll be very diligent how to conduct anything that has to do with money of any sort. To me, that's what causes most issues is the mishandling of money. The justification, I'm about to run out of time, but just, this option allowed the academic success of students while taking care of the well-being of adults. Using the fundraised money would provide students with supplemental education experience for college careers and life. Kind of the rest of the stuff as to why, we need this for the students and how important this is for the students. Here are my references. Thank you guys for your time and appreciate you guys for listening. Have a good rest of your day and take care.